then we'll also see that with this, there's an introduction to the case, and then the students would also have the video of the procedure and the different steps. We'll just see how that plays. And the procedure has an audio background, which was recorded after the procedure was taped, and the students would watch this at much closer range than they would for the normal for the normal thing that they have in the OR, and this goes through it. Right? I think we could move to the next slide. So this is what we now developed after Kerry Engelberg left, where we got a multimedia specialist, and using the same software, he now comes out with this, which you can see there's probably more beauty to than when Kerry and I were working together, because this person is more thinking of the aesthetic finish of it. And we have links that the students could click on this side and get a video of their professor giving a commentary on that. Then there's a demonstration of the clinical examination, which maybe about 20 of them will have to crowd and be looking over shoulders to be able to see this at close range. And we acknowledge all the funding that was in on this, and we also go ahead and acknowledge the people who were involved in producing this, because the plan is that in the long run, these people should be able to use this material and put it forward as a material that they have produced, which would count towards their promotion. Right. So what things have happened so far? There's an office space that's been provided, which really didn't cost anything out of the grant. Fixing up the office space used a part of the grant. I mean, the grant helped us to purchase a server which we can put the material on, which can be used, accessed within our local area network. And then in the long run, I mean, we can get it onto the main university server that people from all over can be able to access. And the grant also helped us to buy cameras, I mean, computers and laptops. But then the phase of producing the material has it's kind of like cheaper on our side than it would be to produce the same material on the US side, because I mean, labor doesn't cost as much as it costs in the US, and it's probably also easier for us to get on and film such things about patients. We do have a consent form that patients sign and agree to. There is compensation that is paid to patients who use their time, especially for the clinical examination. For the ones that is part of their surgery, they sign a consent form allowing this to be filmed during the surgery. In that case, there's no compensation paid for that time. But then it's definitely not as cumbersome a process as might happen in a US institution. But all the patient's rights are respected. So we've got the multimedia expert, and then there's ongoing training of a core group of faculty members in this. We've completed our draft policy, and the college and university executive boards have been informed of the developments, are in full support of this. Now, I don't think there's any audio with this, but then this is a documentary that we've put together, which has some of the leaders in our institution saying what they've noticed about the impact of the OER. For the students, we've done a survey of the students, and the students have come out saying that this helps them get the material better. And we've done a survey where we've made a presentation, and we've even submitted a paper on this, where students are saying that this is a thing that helps them learn better. The faculty realize that when students go through this material before they come into the lectures, we are able to engage the students at a higher level than we would have done at first, because after the student has watched, whether it's the clinical examination or gone through the surgical procedure, one can begin to have a discussion with them at a much higher level than this. And generally speaking, this material has been helpful. It has changed the way we think about our teaching. It has changed the way in which we are getting our teaching across. It has changed the way our students are thinking about things. And it's helped us to know that we can also produce this material. And even with the material on the hysterectomy, the chair of the OBGYN faculty in University of Michigan watched it and said, now, why can't my students use this material? Because we haven't produced anything like this that our students would have a close range look of the various steps in performing a hysterectomy and performing a C-section. So you can also serve us by making this material available. My students look at it and we don't need to produce it again. And the same way, the material that we have from the University of Michigan, your students can look at it and you don't need to produce it again. And this provides a real big global community that would enhance learning and enable us to probably turn out better students, although we're not sure of that, but definitely to reduce the amount of time that we put into producing learning material. Thank you.